Welcome to Two Devs on the Sofa. I'm Charlie, this is Mike.
Hi.
And today we've got a very special guest. Very special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, yeah. Can't remember who I am, can you?
Yeah. First question, you can do this. You can do this.
Hi, I'm Rob Cullingford, and I'm a software developer and Scrum Master at Mayden.
Awesome, cool. So Rob isn't just a software developer and Scrum Master at Mayden, he's also been one of the guest lecturers for the Academy. So you came in last week to talk to the students. Mm-hmm. What did you think? You can be honest, because
it was a great experience actually. I love coming in and chatting to you guys. I've done a few of these lectures now over the last few kind of runs of the Academy.
Yeah.
And I did a talk this time I did for the first time, the previous cohort of, and that was about creative thinking and problem solving, which is a bit different, I know, because I know a lot of the talks tend to be quite technical in nature, and they're being pumped full of technical information by you guys all the time. Yeah. And it's nice to, I think, talk about something where when they leave the Academy and become a software developer, there are other skills that they're going to need.
Definitely has I think it's got applications beyond just development as well. It's all the stuff outside, general life skills.
Yeah. We always get really good feedback about how obviously what you talk about is creative problem solving, and how being creative isn't just artsy, but it's, you know, problem solving can be creative, and a lot of the students have never thought about problem solving being a creative skill.
No, it's a stigma. I'm creative. It's it's a person, it's a dreamer in the corner that kind of, you know, staring into middle distance sort of thing, and they're the creative one. Yeah. And that's just not. I mean, people need to go through that process to be creative, and that unlocks problem solving, because people tend to just charge through work and think, as a developer, you just get given problems to solve on a daily basis, and it's how do you best go about solving those problems. Yeah.
Quite a nice confidence builder as well for the students. Like the 16 weeks they spend in the Academy, they're obviously not ever on top of what we're doing until the end of the week, and we move on to something new. So the confidence levels are obviously up and down with whether they feel okay with the technology or not. And when they come into the guest lecture, they have this it's kind of coaching them to have a bit more confidence in their own skills. It's something that's inherent within them, like that they are creative whether they think they are or not. Everyone's creative. This is a thing that you already do, but you just can't realise that you've already
done. Exactly, and I think that's my talk. It's fairly basic. I pick a few kind of techniques to talk about, really. And they're all things I think people just do naturally on a daily basis, but they don't know they're doing it. Yeah. But it's good to realise when you're doing it. So actually, if you do get into a situation where you're problem solving, you can then kind of rubbage into that bag of tools and tips and tricks to kind of help unlock it. And
even having that sort of externalisation, if you take a step back and think about how would I do this if I wanted to be creative, sort of thing. It's like what has been put into quite a nice sort of frame of reference for them to really help with problem solving as well.
Yeah. And making it fun. That's the main thing.
We get to watch Looney Tunes.
It's good. So I mean, the whole point of learning is it should be fun, and actually part of your job is a big part of my job is trying to make the day as fun as possible for people. You get through your work and you be serious and you get your work done, but actually you need to enjoy it as well. So.
Of course, it's no fun.
Well, that brings us on quite nicely actually to the next question, really, which is I guess how you got into what you do. You know, you talk about how part of your job now is to make sure that everyone's having fun whilst doing your serious work. But you know, how did you get to where you are now? What brought you to development, and what brought you to Scrum Mastering?
What brought me to development? I kind of fell into it, really. I didn't come through the usual routes. I'm a geography graduate, for instance.
Sure.
And when I left university,
School of Earth and Sciences.
So when I left university, I was looking for a job, obviously, and I joined a company where I could marry a kind of I always had an interest in computing. Home computer. You know, my father bought a BBC Home from work, sort of thing, and we played with that. So I had an interest in computing, but obviously kind of a geographer at heart. And I got a job as a GIS developer, which is Geographical Information Systems.
Sure, okay.
It's kind of marrying those two things together.
Great.
Kind of mapping on computers, effectively. And the GIS systems were very proprietary to begin with, so you kind of coded in these very obscure languages, kind of built just by these GIS vendors.
Okay.
And then over time they realised that was keeping them as very niche products.
Yeah.
So in order to broaden their appeal, they started turning these proprietary languages into using more mainstream languages, whether it be Java or C# or whatever.
Sure.
And that automatically just takes you into room to more mainstream development as well.
Yeah.
And at the same time, because I'm slightly old, as you keep reminding me, Mike, as well, the internet was invented.
Can't let you forget.
It's not the ageist of my list. So the internet obviously came along, and then that's when I got into web development as well, because everything then shifted to you know, rather than just GIS systems being these kind of standalone kind of monolithic systems, it was all, well, stuff's got to be web-based now. And the birth of Google Maps and things like that transformed it even further. So that's kind of then more gone into kind of web development as well. So it's not been a planned path. It wasn't a case of I'm going to do this, and this.
That's often the way, though, isn't it?
I've kind of bounced and bimbled along from one thing to another, and it's kind of worked out well. So it's good.
Very cool. So I think one of the things that we could credit you to would be a really big part of the adoption of Scrum at Mayden. So you're a massive Scrum advocate. What was that process like? I mean, it's hard to sum it up in like a few minutes, but like, what was the experience of taking in like a company that doesn't do Scrum through that journey to getting them to be agile?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was actually, when you hear about other companies and other people who are trying to do an agile adoption, we had it pretty easy to a certain extent. There were challenges, but actually we all knew at Mayden there were certain problems we had at the time that everyone knew we wanted to kind of. I don't know if you want me to dip into these things, but
give us an example.
Okay, so people, I found it very weird when I first joined Mayden. It was almost silent.
Right.
People didn't really talk to each other. And it became very apparent that developers, especially, were architecting and coding and problem solving all by themselves. In these individual little silos. And also they had silos of expertise within the product. So work just got given to individual people depending on their expertise. So
like one person that only knew about this one feature in the product.
So I suddenly became the expert in interfacing between our product and other products. So any work that was of that nature came to me. And so we were all kind of in individual little bottlenecks, really. So there was a problem in terms of capacity planning, because work would come in and it was work just stacked up behind individual people. There was no knowledge sharing, people weren't helping each other, and you could tell that there were some really, really smart, really talented developers. But they just weren't.
Not very much collaboration.
But they weren't kind of fulfilling what I think what they could be or could have been. You see what I mean? So that was a kind of some of the general issues, and also we were launching our product. Well, launching updates for products every kind of 6 months, and they were big updates, really risky. But the good thing about it was everyone knew that we weren't working in a great way, but no one really knew how to do about it, how to solve the problem. And I'm good friends with, old friends with Paul Goddard, who runs Agilify, who does the Scrum Master training for the Academy.
For us.
Plug there for Paul, and the invoice will be in the post.
He didn't plug you when he came.
I noticed that. So he'd been begging me to go on this course, or not begging me, he'd been asking me to go on this course for ages, saying he must come on my course. And I kind of finally relented one day, because I was a contractor at the time, and I thought I need to start building more expertise in various areas.
So it was actually whilst you were at Mayden that you learned Scrum?
Yeah, completely. I was a contractor there, so I was working at Mayden already, thinking none of this is ideal, but I don't really know what to do about it, and none of us did. So I went on this Scrum Master course with Paul, and it was a complete epiphany for me, really. And I think it was because the stuff I learned over the 2 days on the Scrum Master course, I could directly relate to problems we were experiencing at Mayden. If I hadn't had that, I don't think I probably would have jumped into an agile with 2 feet.
Bespoke for the issues that you were
so you learn stuff and think, oh, that's a cool idea. How am I going to use that? It was a direct. I could really see that could
that's really cool.
Not potentially solve our problem, but at least help us solve some of the issues. So I then came back to Mayden and kind of waxed lyrical about it, saying we should give this a go. And everyone effectively went, let's give it a try, because everyone knew there was
problems already.
And I think one of the successes of it is because we just did it. I think a lot of people kind of dip their toe in the water or prod it with a stick a bit, and what is this thing? Is it going to work for us? Whereas we just did it, immersed ourselves and just went for it completely. And with the backing of management as well.
Okay, well, that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And there were issues, and I think the main issue was people's mindset, because people get entrenched, even if they know that the way they're working isn't great and there are issues with it. It's what they know and they're comfortable with it.
You get used to like the things that you've always done and the way that you work and kind of
it's scary to begin with, and you kind of you ease yourself into it, and then it becomes the norm. And then you ask someone to change that and they don't like it.
I think that's particularly around job roles as well, isn't it? Sometimes because sometimes you have to take a step back from the kind of hierarchy, and it's all about everyone as a team together delivering a piece of work, rather than
everyone's always resistant to change regardless. Like no matter what that change is, but particularly when it's around their job roles and. And it's
changed for a large number of people, so it wasn't just changed for the developers themselves who are in the Scrum team. There are changing behaviour and changes of way of working for people who interact with the Scrum team. So whether that be management and obviously our product owner, and they have to learn how all the good interactions, all the bad interactions with the Scrum team, what helps, what doesn't help. So that was all a learning process as well, because you're getting them to change their behaviour and change their working practices as well. So it kind of it sits beyond just the kind of the core,
the people
the kind
that are
of the
actually
development
changing
team.
their process.
Yeah. And I think that was it's definitely one of the biggest challenges we face, really.
Sure.
I think it's an ongoing journey, isn't it? Like we're not there now 5 years down the line. There's always more to be done.
We're still tweaking it. It's always still tweaking it. There's always something to learn.
Yeah.
And I think people think, oh, we're just gonna adopt Scrum, adopt Agile,
and
it's
tick.
bing, done it. Oh,
Yeah,
and everything fantastic. No, actually, the whole point is it shows you things you're not very good at.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's up to you whether you want to actually
do anything about it.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good sort of attitude to have in general, you know, as a developer when working in tech companies. You're always learning, you're always improving, problem solving, you can get better at, you know, everything that you're doing, and just generally that's a really good sort of mantra to have.
Yeah, definitely. So I think when it comes to Scrum, we're really big advocates, obviously not just the Academy, but Mayden itself as well. We're really keen to see its adoption as much as possible all over the Southwest and beyond. So if it's something that you're interested in, we do have places available that we can get you on our Certified Scrum Master course, along with some of the students on the cohort. Or you can come and just talk to us. We're at a lot of meetups around, or just drop us an email or something. We're always happy to field questions. And
get in touch on Twitter or something.
Yeah, and then we'll pass them over to Rob.
Cheers, thanks.
No, anytime.
No problems.
Cool. But I think that probably wraps up today's episode. Thanks very much for watching, and thanks very much, Rob, for being on today.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me along.
And we'll catch up with you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.